It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Now,
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the House of Hockey podcast with Brezzy and RaeRae. How are y'all doing today?
good.
Yeah, we're doing really well. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about, of course, how you knew that you wanted to start a hockey podcast?
Well, I think it started with Breezy and I wanting to work together. We had connected through social media, and she runs the popular Instagram account Hunks of Hockey. And I was starting up my account, The Hockey Lady, and interviewing fans all around the country, NHL fans. And we were trying to figure out a way to work together. And nothing really was making sense until we were presented with this opportunity from the Hockey Podcast Network. They host our podcast. And it was sort of like that aha Oprah moment of like, oh, duh, this is what we should be doing together. And it's just been a blast ever since. We both really wanted to do something like this and talk to players and talk to people in the hockey community. And we're like a yin and a yang together. Would you say,
Exactly.
Breezy? Yeah?
Yeah, exactly. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, you could.
Yeah, maybe.
Brezzy, can you talk about, of course, how you became a part of the Hockey Network?
Yeah, so originally it started, I want to say it was what's the Chicago Blackhawks, the Hockey Talk, right?
Oh, Hungry for Hawks Talk podcast.
Yes, Hungry for Hawks Talk. So they were originally linked up with RaeRae, and they kind of linked her with the network. And from there, she kind of shared the info with me. And then that's kind of like the snowball effect of how it all happened. They wanted to know if we wanted to do it together. And I mean, it was kind of a simple, hey, come onto the podcast or the network. So.
And in like a week, like after Breezy and I having a couple phone calls, saying yes, designing, getting a logo made, and getting everything ready. I was like, Breezy, we could do this in a week. She was like, a week? I was like, we could do this. Let's go. Let's get on it. Because we started right at the beginning of quarantine, right before like the season got put on pause, and we were still going to go full speed ahead regardless. So
yeah.
RaeRae, speaking about that, can you talk about, of course, how y'all came up with the name House of Hockey and designed y'all's logo?
I mean, the name doesn't really have any true deep-rooted like meaning behind it. We just wanted to talk about all the things that make this hockey community what feels like a home to us. And it just sort of was like, how about House of Hockey? We're inclusive. We want people to feel like they're just coming over and hanging out and chatting with us, and we're all friends. And we felt like we had that in our own experience within the hockey community, between going to games and even just Breezy and I meeting over hockey and just finding this great like friendship and business connection that's turned into something so fun. The logo, well, we were presented with a draft from the network, and we were like, yeah, this isn't really what we were envisioning. So Breezy, who did you have design our logo? Shout him out, because I don't remember his name.
Yeah, so it was actually one of my best friends. His name is Lucas Huffman. That's right. And I worked with him previously at a job. Him and I became super close. He is an incredible designer, and he's so creative. He can take anything and twist it and just make it come to life. And it's kind of exactly what we did. We kind of had individually, we had different concepts that we had liked, and we're like, well, maybe if we can put like X, Y, and Z together, and like here's the colors we like. And then was it within like an hour he sent over our logo, and we're like, yep, this is it. This is done.
That's it. Yep.
That's
Cut,
so amazing.
print.
Yeah.
Do y'all talk only about NHL, or do y'all talk about a little bit of the WNB NHL?
We talk about anything and everything. If there is a hockey league, whether it's professional, semi, beer league, we talk about it.
Overseas, European, we've talked about women's hockey in Scotland, hockey in Australia, the NWHL, all of it.
SPHL,
ECHL, AHL, what else?
Yeah.
We haven't talked to anybody from the OHL yet.
Not yet.
Not
Intent.
Yet. Can you talk about, of course, how y'all go about getting the guests that you have on your show?
Go ahead, RaeRae.
Oh, it's a combination. It's a combination of just straight up sliding into DMs on social media for people that we are interested in talking to. Like, we want to talk to people that we think would be fun and interesting for ourselves as well as our audience and our listeners. Some of it is connections from both Brezzy and me, our connections within the hockey community of people we've both met throughout the years. And that just sort of leads from one guest to the next. And then, you know, we've reached out to a lot of people just on our own, just straight up like, hey, we do this podcast. We'd love to talk to you. And a lot of people are really open and willing to share with us. And I think they have a good time. I think they're surprised at the end of our interviews. Brezzy, would you agree? Where like a lot of them are like, oh, that was actually like fun. I didn't know it was going to go this way. So we kind of let the conversation flow naturally.
Yeah, we've had that a few times where they're like, yeah, this was like actually like pretty fun. And like, and you're like, thanks, actually.
Actually.
I think people have I think they have like a different maybe thought process or opinion before they come on to our podcast. And we honestly are just hanging out, having good conversations, and nothing crazy. So it's all been good.
Brezzy, can you talk about a little bit how you get guests like the Hall of Fame guests that you had on recently?
Yeah, so those happen to be some connections that RaeRae was able to get. She obviously is the hockey lady. She has a network of all these different people that she's been in contact with, and she kind of pulled a big one there. She's pulled a few big ones actually. But I got to give the credit where it's credit's due. So it was all her.
Come on. It's totally a teamwork effort. Like Brezzy brings in people with things that I had no connections to. Like she has really strong connections with the Los Angeles Kings and brought us in, Carlin Baith and a lot of other people as well. Brezzy knows the founder of, what is the name? I'm totally blanking. The clothing company.
Which
Jason.
one?
Jason Whitby.
Yeah.
What
Pacific
is it?
Rink.
Thank you. I could see the logo, but I couldn't see the words Pacific Rink. So it's a team effort. The Hall of Fame connections are through. It was just really through good old fashioned conversation, coffee. Meeting in real life at a coffee shop in the middle of Maine, of all places, in this really, really small town of Saco, Maine, and just being open to talking to strangers. Sometimes you never know who they know, and that's kind of how that played out. So
That's so amazing. RaeRae, can you talk about how you got, of course, your nickname, the Hockey Lady?
Well, I gave it to myself, Brandon. So I don't know if that really counts, but I have a really complicated last name, Kopchak, that no one can spell. And I had to come up with an acronym for my hosting and reporting work that I do that's not hockey related. And so I'm the hockey lady. Yeah, yes, I am. But I'm also the lady on TV. So I was trying to pull something within that vein. And I wanted to just make it very clear and simple, like what it is I'm doing on this social media account is I'm a lady and I like hockey and I watch it and I'm a fan and I talk about it. And it's just that simple. It's a little like, what's the word I want to use? Like, oh, I'm the hockey lady. Like I'm the only one who can be the hockey lady. It was available. It made sense. No one can spell my last name and it works.
That's so amazing. Who are some of the notable guests that you have on your show?
Oh man, I feel like every single guest that we've had has been pretty big in our eyes. We just recently had this past week, this came out on Tuesday the 1st, we had NHLer Curtis Gabriel. He's currently playing for the San Jose Sharks, and he was also playing for the San Jose Barracuda in the AHL, and he's played with a bunch of other stuff. Dan Mylan has been on. He played in the ECHL. Obviously, Nifty we just had. So there's been a pretty wide range of people that we've had on.
Oh, yeah. His fellow teammate, Brad Park, another NHL Bruins from the 70s. We have had
Carlin Bathe, Fox
Bathe.
Sports West reporter, and Stormy, I could never say her last name.
Bonantoni.
Yeah. She's the ringside reporter for the Vegas Golden Knights.
And Brent Wallace, who covers for TSN, the Ottawa Senators. We've had on, I feel like we're missing
Summer Skates.
Yep.
Kevin Hennessy has been on.
Lindsay Fry, Olympian, women's hockey Olympian. Who else?
Yeah. Man, I feel like the list goes. We have a ton of guests lined up.
Carly Zucker.
Carly Zucker, Jason Zucker's wife.
Jason Zucker's wife. That was one of the funnier interviews. Also because my aunt made a very interesting appearance. So go back and watch that.
Breezy, who are some of the people that you have lined up?
Yeah.
Ooh, so we have Sean Sidlowski. So he currently plays for it's the
Fort Wayne Comets, right?
Fort Wayne Comets. Yeah, I was gonna say Comets, but I couldn't figure out where they were from. Gosh, who else do we have coming up here?
Well, we just put out a couple weeks back John Chavo.
Yes, we did.
And we've talked to there's somebody else coming up that you're still working on, but we're also talking to Danny Heath, right?
Yeah, Danny Heath from Project Hockey. And then there is also another one. I can draw a blank on his name. Steven Oleski. So he's played in the NHL before. He'll be coming on here shortly as well.
And you just never know, Brandon, who might make an appearance.
Just never know.
Starting off with you, RaeRae, if you could interview anybody in the NHL and ask them one question, what would it be and who?
Ooh.
I would, oh God, that's a hard question. Current NHL player. I think I'm going to have to go with one of my hunks. I would either have to interview Patrick Sharp or Matt Barzal. I think I would have to interview Patrick Sharp, and I would because I'm a Blackhawks fan, Brandon, and he's now an analyst with the NHL Network. I think I would want to know what products he uses in his beautiful flowy hair.
That's good. That's good.
Come on, it has to be something different because the man's been asked everything from Stanley Cups and all that stuff. I'd want to do something a little funny or fun.
Yeah.
Breezy, who would yours be?
It would definitely be Roman Josi. He's my favorite player, and I'd probably do something fun too, but totally out of not what I would say, but because I'm not asking him this question right now, I'll tell it to you guys, but I would ask him if it hurt when he fell from heaven.
We don't take everything serious.
Yeah,
we do talk about serious stuff, Brandon, but also
RaeRae, can you talk about, of course, what the interview was like with Dustin Bones?
Yeah, Dustin Bones Smith, right? So his last name, Breezy?
Yes.
Yep.
That was super cool because for people who don't know, he was I don't know if he still currently is because I don't know what the league is doing with emergency backup goalies right now because of COVID, but he is the emergency backup goalie for the Nashville Predators. And that means, if you guys aren't familiar with the emergency backup, every home arena has to provide one emergency backup goalie for every home game. And that goalie can play for either the home team or the opposing team if, for whatever reason, the two goalies that they carry cannot play and they can't get somebody up from their minor farm system in time for the game. And Dustin got to tell us like all about how he even got that job, practicing with the Preds and like being friends with them, and the whole story of the first time he got to play and dress in a game, and how he ended up dressing for the Bruins, the opposing team, and had to wear Tuukka Rask's cup because he didn't even bring his cup with him to the game, and like is wearing all of Tuukka's gear. But he didn't end up having to play, right? He just dressed.
He just dressed, I want to say, yeah.
Yeah,
if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was
still incredible.
It was hilarious. He's like, just can you believe? Like, I walk into the dressing room, and who did he say was Zdeno Chara was there, and just was like, or no, maybe not. I don't remember. But either way,
Chara.
It was Chara.
I think it was Chara. Yeah.
Chara was like, hey, hi, and you're just like this like quote regular guy who was in the stands 10 minutes before watching the game, and now you're getting the phone call that you better get your butt down to the dressing room and get dressed. I mean, it was just incredible to hear his experience. Was there anything else, Breezy? I'm trying to remember from our conversation with him.
That interview was probably one of my favorite ones.
Yeah.
Being a Preds fan, obviously, but he's just such a cool guy. He's got a regular like blue collar job, and then he like leaves that and goes to every single Preds game. Like RaeRae said, he practices with the team. He, has hung out with Pekka and whatnot. So if you have a chance, go listen to that interview because it's definitely worth your while.
That's so amazing. Breezy, can you talk about RJ the Caniac's interview and how that was like?
Yeah, RJ was awesome. I think he reached out to us originally, and this was our first time. We have never even talked to anybody from the Canes organization or a fan or anything like that. So to bring him on and hear his point of view of things, he's absolutely hilarious, and he's got like that personality where he kind of looks like he's like not having a good time, but like he's having a great time. So that was really fun. We talked about all things Canes. We talked about how the Canes tailgate before every game, which is also incredible. And he made us basically be Canes fans. So that was fun.
Oh, yeah. And they have two mascots. He told us like all this stuff.
The pigs.
The pigs.
The tailgating pigs. Like, you can't make that stuff up. That was awesome.
Yeah.
RaeRae, starting off with you, who would your ideal interview be if you could interview anybody?
Anybody at all, not even in hockey?
Of course, in hockey.
Really. Oh, in hockey. In hockey. I would want to interview Jeremy Roenick because I think he's got so many stories that have gone untold, and he's very unfiltered. And I would just like to laugh. I like to laugh, Brendan, and I think JR's interview would make me laugh, and I'd get to hear a lot of stories about like the good old days of hockey and the Blackhawks organization.
That's so amazing. Breezy, who would your ideal interview be?
I'm just gonna go for the GOAT. I'm gonna go Wayne Gretzky. Why not? He probably has incredible stories. If we can get, I think if anybody can get an interview with him, you're a top dog. Your mind's being blown. So Wayne Gretzky, final answer.
Starting off with you, Breezy, what have you learned now that you didn't know before you started the House of Hockey podcast?
I think it's just how deep the hockey community really goes. I mean, there's so many different angles and hockey's in every single corner of the world, regardless of where you think it may be. I mean, it's in Egypt and India and South America, and I mean, literally everywhere. And I think that's something that both RaeRae and I have learned is it's not just like a North American or being played on ice. It's honestly, it's everywhere.
RaeRae, what is something that you learn now that you didn't know before starting?
I think I've learned a lot more about the game from the player's perspective, and being able to talk to so many players, both male and female, about what it really takes and training and how rigorous the schedule is, and just sort of like understanding their love of the game is amazing, because as a fan, Brezzy and I both love the sport and we love the uniqueness of hockey and the community. And it's always something we're asking ourselves and our guests, like, what is it that just makes this community so incredible and supportive and caring and makes this game that much more fun to watch? And I think hearing from the players that they too feel that way, that they just think there's something really unique and special about this sport, and hearing what it's done for them personally, just makes it all worth it and fun to keep hearing different perspectives on the game.
That's so amazing. Brezzy, where can my listeners find, of course, the House of Hockey podcast at and you at on social media?
Yeah, so you can stream our podcast anywhere where podcasts are available. And you can find us on Instagram at House of Hockey Podcast, and on Twitter. I think what's our Twitter handle? House of Hockey _
something like that. We're bad at the Twitter, guys.
We're terrible.
Instagram's our thing, but we're there.
Instagram is our thing, but we are there. Yes. And we're obviously on Facebook too, just House of Hockey Podcast.
RaeRae, where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Oh, yeah. Well, you can find me at The Hockey Lady. I think it's close to that on all platforms. And Brezzy, you can follow her at Hunks of Hockey as well for her personal account.
Yes.
Thank you again, Brezzy and RaeRae, for your interview, and best of luck with the House of Hockey podcast.
Thanks so
Brandon.
much.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Brandon Sports Talk, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, the House of Hockey, for your interview, and best of luck.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.